Hello, everybody. Joe Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Tsukihime, where last time we finished off Arcuwood's route, which means this time only got one route left to go for the near side. Just gotta start up Ciel's route, which, I'm looking forward to. I just woke up. I'm a little froggy. A sip of coffee to revive me. Ciel's route. We talked about it before, but in case, for whatever reason, you're only here to watch Ciel's route and didn't watch any of the Arcuwood route videos for some reason, more power to you, I guess. I'm getting views one way or the other, so no skin off my back. Ciel's route got pretty heavily rewritten, like to the point where it's an entirely new route, so I'm looking forward to that, because my main gripe with it in the original was it was just kind of Arcuwood Route 1.5. It's just kind of the same stuff played out. It's like, oh yeah, and then here's Ciel 2, and then she disappeared, and be like, okay, bye, hello Arcuwood. That's a little overstating it, but that's the vibe, that I was getting, and I'm a little upset. I know they changed up Powered Ciel's design. They got rid of the tattoos because Type Moon are fucking cowards. They got rid of the pile bunker because they have no brains rattling around in their skull. Let's just hope that, the script writing part of their brain hasn't rotted out due to, I don't know, fake Grand Order, something or another. I'm not one of those people who hates, like, quote-unquote, new Type Moon because all they do is FGO. Well, of course they do. It's what makes the most fucking money in the world. That's a lie. Pokemon actually does, but it's not an insubstantial amount of money. And I actually used to play Fake Grand Order way back in the day. Like, I'm talking 2015 when it launched. My phone felt like it would catch on fire. JP, FGO. Barely knew what was going on because obviously I don't read Japanese. I can read a little now, but still probably not enough to follow a, quote-unquote complicated story. I don't say complicated like narrative-wise, but complicated in there's a lot of proper nouns and verbs that are made up only in for the Fate setting, so it'd be very confusing to follow along with, I'd imagine, if you just have a rudimentary understanding of the language. But anyway, I played up all the way through some of the Lost Belts. I think it was right before the India one where I stopped. Not because it was bad or anything. I actually thought the story was getting quite good, but I was kind of reevaluating my life. I'm like, I really don't think I should be playing these gacha games like this, because it was like after I dropped like $300 on a banner, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm getting emotionally manipulated by this video game to spend money, and I could probably go back to it now and restart off where I was, but at this point I'm like 5 years behind, and I don't know. If I want to, I could just watch someone's Let's Play on YouTube, which you guys are doing right now. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and check out the Discord in the description down below. But yeah, time for my daily venting session when I start my recording. I was tired yesterday and the day before, so I didn't record. My work is as it always is, not particularly hard, but using a lot of the processing power in my brain for the entire day. So when I come home, I'm exhausted, even if it's not physically, just like mentally. It's like I don't want to do anything. Sitting down, turning on the microphone, and reading and narrating and giving my thoughts and, my cheap 2 cents here and there wasn't on the top of my list. Though I did make myself look super smart yesterday when I extrapolated what a problem was and fixed it without us having to actually break anything, because I looked at all the diagrams and the schematics, and I entered the matrix, and I was able to connect the dots and look super smart, because most of our troubleshooting books, they're written at a 6th grade level, because any of the dipshits that join need to know how to read them and follow along. But then when you run into the problem where things get complicated and you're trying to fix a problem that's not so clear-cut, and those 6th grade reading level fucking Lego instruction books aren't going to help you at all. And you need to get into the like engineering side of things and looking at actual like technical documents and stuff and actually know how your stuff works. And I was doing that for like 4 hours yesterday before going out to try some things out, and lo and behold, they worked. And then I had to do some other things to make sure that they actually worked and it wasn't just a fluke. And it made me look real good, not gonna lie. You know, toot my own horn a little bit. That's something I'll give myself a pat on the back for. Looked super competent at my job. I don't know how I'm still fooling them all that I don't know what I'm doing. I guess, you know, gotta give all the credit to the visual novels I read for increasing my, I don't know, my literacy skill. Being able to take in what I see and actually understand it. I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here, but yeah, that was essentially my week. Really, really slow. It's a cold morning. Didn't want to wake up. That's why I'm all froggy. I got my shitty tracksuit on. You know, isekai light novel protagonist look. Except this one's more like something someone's Chinese grandpa would have. Because one, it's a Chinese brand that I got. But two, it's like golden plaid. But instead of like, you know, plaid's normally straight lines, these ones are triangles and diamonds. So it's brown, gold, kind of a cream colored for like the base, brown and black lines, and it's extremely garish. This thing's fucking hideous, but I love it. One, because it's comfy, and two, I kind of like ugly looking clothes like this that are just an affront to the eyes, without being outright, you know, offensive, I guess. I'm not a real big fan of like t-shirts that just says, I don't know, like your mom's a cunt on it or something. Like that's lowbrow. I need my ugliness to be, you know, high concept. Because I'm a individual like that. But anyway, let's get the show on the road. Before I started, I actually went into my Switch's settings and zoomed in the screen so I no longer have to edit out the black bars on the side every single episode. And I tried to find a way to turn off the Switch going into kind of a low power rest mode there when it's not in use for like 10 minutes at a time when I'm ranting. And I also went to the settings and auto turned on skip text when we're doing reread scenes. That way I don't have to try to remember, oh, did we read this? Reread everything. And to be honest, no, I'm not doing that. I did that once. It's when I was doing my one playthrough. Check out the description, the playlist tab under my channel if you want to watch an old tactics visual novel read-through by the people who later went on to form Key with, you know, Air, Clannad, Canon, and all that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. That takes a lot of time. I gotta edit stuff. I gotta cut out the things that have already, you know, been shown. It's a hassle. And this is a long visual novel. It took us like 6 episodes or something to get to the OP. So that's 10, 12 hours of rereading stuff we've already read. I wouldn't be able to provide any interesting commentary on top of it. I'm sure Tsukihime has some stuff where if you reread it after knowing everything, things, you know, might jump out at you like, oh, wow. But since we've already read the original and we already kind of know Ciel and Arc shtick, we got all that stuff on the first pass. And just going over heavily trodden ground, we'll just get stuck in the mud and drown in it. And it won't be very enjoyable. That's why I don't normally do playthroughs of series I've already read. That's why I'm sorry my Key fans, you know, I was just talking about it. I will never do a read-through of Clannad, Air, or Canon, or Little Busters. Deep lore nerds will know that Little Busters was the first series I ever did on my old channel before that got nuked. Thanks Muv Love. H scenes for that. But anyway, I had read Little Busters like 5 times previously, and I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing with this one, so it'd be good to, a good starting series to do. But with already knowing everything, nothing is a surprise to you, so you're just nodding along to what's happening, and it's really hard to provide interesting or thoughtful commentary or your thoughts, because nothing is interesting. It's, everything. The most you can do is provide, peanut gallery commentary, like, if you do a certain amount of choices in Haruka's route, you can get, and then do the Kut route next, you can get this scene with Kanata, and it's like, thanks. I could have read that on the wiki, but you just told me that instead of commenting on what's going on and, being invested in the story, and it was just a shit show, so I stopped it after, 1.5 rounds. Rest in peace, Little Buster's playthrough. You will not be missed. Anyway, hey, hello, Ciel. Yeah, think of something to ask. Who are you? Hello. A question pops into my mind. Why is she on the train so early?
でもどうしたんですか？先輩、部活やってませんよね。
いえ、何を隠そうボランティア活動の帰りなんです。
Yeah, you were fixing fences in the garden.
生徒会公募で公園のゴミ拾いがあったでしょ。あれをちゃちゃっと先ほどまで。
That early in the morning? Oh, and one thing I also did, I went to the settings and I turned off auto stop the voices if I advance the text. So that way, say, if Ciel's talking and I accidentally advance text and it goes into narration, no one's speaking, her voice will still play, so there's not some weird stilted cut, and it's a little less grating to the ears. Now it all makes sense. Ciel is always running around helping out someone or another.
早朝から30分だけの奉仕活動だったんですけどね。他の皆さんは一旦帰宅したんですが。
Can you really do much in half an hour? I used to do a lot of cleanup back when I was in the Boy Scouts. At campsites and parks and stuff. And I know, half an hour you're gonna rake some leaves into a pile and then not even move them? Just be like, all right, later. Her bag clatters. I'd assumed it was full of equipment, but it must be cleaning stuff.
中身見たいんですか？先輩の持ち物をチェックするなんておとなしそうに見えて大胆ですね。
Hey, a man's heart drums at the thought of looking at cool power tools. She draws closer and looks into my eyes. Her face is so close to mine that I can smell her. Flustered, I can't figure out where to look.
いえ、そういうわけじゃなくてですね。
That's when you lock in and you lean in closer and you tap foreheads and just stare into her eyes.
珍しいなと。
You don't try anything, you just meet her challenge head on. Assert dominance.
ほうほう。私の万能高枝切りばさみも見たいと。
Actually, yes.
よろしい。
As a guy
それでし
approaching
たら放課
30,
後、いつもの茶道部に来てください。あなたなら
lawn
大歓迎で
tools
す。
are my peak interest. I actually need to clean up my hedge trimmers. They're getting a little rusty. I don't want the, they're automatic, kind of imagine a really long, thin chainsaw, but it's not a chainsaw. It's kind of it's hard to describe. Because a chainsaw is just the chain going around, but these, they're 2 layers that move towards each other in a loop with blades coming out, so that way they pinch things in the middle and cut them. But it's really long and thin. It's 3 feet long and only a couple inches wide. But I left it outside once by accident and it got rusty, and I need to disassemble it and clean it before it gets it binds or something when I'm using it and causes damage to it. Faced with such a heartfelt smile, I end up blushing. I'd like to say something clever or witty, but all I can manage is a simple yes.
約束ですよ。ここだけの話、部費で購入したお茶受けが余ってしまいまして、日持ちするものではないので、元気な男の子の協力が不可欠なんです。
Some nice curry cakes with my tea.
そうですか。
With my cha.
じゃあ予定が合えばぜひ。
Or I guess it would be Indian, so it's chai.
食べ物に釣られていくとか猫かって話ですけど。
Yes. Ciel's warm smile makes me feel comfortable enough to crack a joke. She adjusts the green ribbon around her neck that she always wears really loosely for some reason.
ど
It's
ちらか
probably
と
against
いう
school
と
policy to wear like that.
ワンちゃんではないでしょうか。というか猫科はよくありません。
Uh-huh.
最後まで頼りになるのは律儀で頭のいい犬科です。
For reasons I don't quite understand, she seems to feel strongly about this. Yeah, she's had a cat co-worker for damn near 20 years. I can see how it'd get on her nerves. As we're both heading to the same place, we continue to chat. We talk about last week's midterms. We wonder why the sports festival has been reduced to a one-day event. We complain that the cafeteria always serves the same things. After getting into a heated discussion about the plan to restrict phones at school, we tire each other out, sigh in unison, and change the subject. We laugh as we trade opinions on the movies we've recently seen. 15 minutes go by in a flash. It's easy talking with her. She is, after all, incredibly popular among everyone. I don't want this to end, but we only have a few minutes left before we get to Soya Station. I try to bring up something else to talk about. But,
ちょっとうるさいんですけど。
oh, hello. Are we gonna learn more about you? Oh, we've forgotten where we were. Ciel and I bow our heads in apology. Yes, Japanese train etiquette. Shut up, be quiet, stare ahead, play on your phone with the volume off.
怒られちゃいましたね。
ごめんなさい。私の笑い声が大きかっ
Yeah,
た
a
ん
little
です。
fucking chatterbox. You know, your high-pitched voice, it carries farther and it's more grating to the ears. You can't really blame her. After that, our conversation comes to a halt. The friendly cheer that filled the air just moments ago has vanished. It's quickly replaced by that familiar city silence, that cold space in which everyone is a stranger. I mean, only up north in the cold climes. You know, you go farther south, even in the big city, it's generally more I don't know, outwardly welcoming, I could say. The train pulls into Soya Station. It's just before 7 a.m. I left for school a bit early today, so the town hasn't quite woken up yet. It's quiet right now, but in an hour, it'll be bustling with traffic and commuters.
今朝も交通量が少なめですね。最近街の目覚めが遅い気がします。皆さん夜更かしなんでしょうかね。
As Ciel shares this odd observation, I notice how heavy her bag looks.
荷物学校まで持って行きましょうか。
ああ、いえいえ、お気になさらず。私は寄っていくところがありますので、ここでお別れですね。
To be honest, Shiki, even if, you know, she isn't a superpowered fucking church bioweapon freak, and that was just a bag full of heavy stuff, I don't think you'd be much help carrying it. You know, I've talked about it before, dude's like 90 pounds soaking wet. Doesn't have the most athletic build in the world. She smiles a goodbye and waves as she runs off. Her lithe legs carry her so swiftly, I almost expect a comical whoosh. Not to be outdone, I feel an urge to start running too, but there's no real reason for me to hurry. I probably shouldn't be running anyway, considering my condition. I start walking towards school at my usual pace. But just as I set off, the girl from before emerges from the ticket gates. She passes by briskly, slowing, only to share a few choice words.
見かけ通り軽薄なんですね。うんざりしました。
Rude. And with that, she stalks away. Almost like a panther. I'm struck dumb by the rudeness. It seems I've made an enemy. I should be careful the next time I have a conversation on a train. I guess I said something that upset her. Even so...
いや、最近の中学生はおっかないな。
It was a regular hit-and-run scolding. and just, you know, he goes into a fugue state and doesn't pay attention to what's going on. And then, what? Oh, it's lunchtime. I guess, we meet Arihiko in the cafeteria, and then we meet up Ciel, right? No? Go out into the hallway, I guess. The hallways are a mess of activity during lunch. Most people are heading to the cafeteria, but some are carrying lunch boxes, likely on their way to their friend's classroom, the courtyard, or the gym. I merge with the crowd, wondering if I should get a proper meal at the cafeteria or just buy something light at the school store when I catch a glimpse of Ciel further down the hall. I'm probably imagining it, but it looks like she's heading straight for me.
よかった。探してたんですよ、遠野くん。教室にお邪魔する手間が省けちゃいました。
それはどうも。こんにちは、シエル先輩。
Yes, hello, but what are you doing on the second year floor? At least I think how the school's laid out. It seems like a lot of Japanese schools do the thing where the floors of the schoolhouse are, you know, dedicated to one year, and then as you go up, it becomes like second year, then third year, and so on and so forth. This lackluster greeting is all I can muster. For some reason, I suddenly feel very shy.
はい、こんにちはです。
I guess it might just feel strange to me because my school was technically 2 floors, but it was more like 1.5, because the main school was 1 floor, but then like half of it had a like underground basement floor, but it's not really a basement. Their school is kind of on a hill, so you know half of that floor was, you know, in the hillside, but then the side with the windows and stuff, you know, you can see outside. It's kind of a strange setup, but also kind of tricky to navigate too, now that I think about it.
でも私たち今日はもう会っていますから、こんにちはというのは正しくないですね。
Yeah, but now we're in public with rumor-loving classmates around every corner.
あ、うん。そういえばそうでした。
Coffee tried to kill me. I sheepishly avert my gaze. Is there something wrong with me? Yes. I've never had a problem talking to Ciel before, but I feel really self-conscious right now. Is it because of what happened this morning? Yeah, it's almost like I'm talking to a person I just met. Strange.
遠野くん？どことなく落ち着きがありませんけど、何か急用でもあるんですか？
いえ、急ぎの用はないです。
Only, you know, mulling over lunch. There's no way I can tell her the real reason. Because I'm fixated on her every move.
それより先輩、俺を探していたって何か用ですか？
So, Ciel, did you like program that into your hypnotism, or is that just au naturel, Shiki, you know, drooling over girls
はい。
that are nice to
朝
him?
ちょっとしたご迷惑をかけてしまったでしょ。そのお詫びがしたくてずっと探していたんです。
朝の迷惑って。ああ、電車の話？でもあれは迷惑というより役得というか。
Yeah, I was about to say Shiki should be used to getting yelled at by middle school girls, considering, you know, who he's living with the Armas. But pretty sure. Oh god, I don't even. What's her fucking name? Sorry, I'm not much of a multiplayer. Miyuko? No, our resident Baji Kwan practitioner. It's like, I guess, super really quiet when Shiki was around, and fairly meek, if I remember my lore correctly. Anyway, I had a lot of fun talking to Ciel. With her to keep me company, the train ride flew by in no time.
でもうるさくしすぎて女の子に怒られたじゃないですか。そのお詫びです。つかぬことをお聞きしますけど、遠野くんはこれからお昼ご飯ですか？
ですよ。食堂に行くか購買で済ませるか。 迷っていたところで
You
す
know, you could always take the third option and go out to like the back garden and try to scavenge for some edible roots and weeds.
よかった。それならご一緒できますね。朝のお詫びにおごっちゃいますから、これから。
With a smile, Ciel grabs my arm and whisks me away. It's rare for a third year to be where all the second year rooms are in the first place, so this only sends even more looks our way. I can feel everyone's eyes on us.
ちょっと待ってください。朝のあれは俺だって悪いんだから、先輩が謝ることでもありません。むしろ逆です。謝るならこっちです。
I turn myself away. My face must be beet red.
おお、それは聞き捨てなりませんね。
Yeah, oh, free food?
謝るべき
Okay.
は遠野くんの方だったと。つまりその罰として遠野くんは私のお願いを
Really
一つ
fucking spun that around on
聞いてくれるとかありなわけですね。
As I feel Ciel's gaze tease me, my cheeks burn even hotter.
いや、今のは言葉のあやでですね。
では観念して私を食堂に連れて行ってください。今日は誰かとランチしたい気分だったんです。運が悪かったと思って
You're
私
gonna
に
go
おごら
get
れてください。
your favorite, you know, your character trait item, that plate of spaghetti with meat sauce. I've watched the anime, I know. It's just cheating. There's no way anyone could say no to a smile like that.
ああ、お
That
ご
was
られ
such
て
an
って
odd change to make,
そ
though.
れも逆ですよ、先輩。
だって私が楽しかったのは本当ですから。それでは食堂に急ぎましょう。早くしな
Well,
い
the
と
anime did a lot of
席が
weird
埋まっちゃい
things,
ますから
if
ね。
I'm being perfectly honest. It's not as bad as people say it is. It's just, you know, kind of a mediocre adaptation. The music is real good, though. I think, okay, what's the full title? It's like Lunar Princess Tsukihime is, it's got a good score, you know. Ciel takes my hand again and leads me down the hall at a brisk pace. Perfect timing. The tables are wide open. A sizable line stretches back from the counter. I guess it's about a 5-minute wait.
私が並びま
Sorry,
す
I
か
got
ら
distracted by the
遠野
Pepsi
くんは
logo
席を
on
確保
the
しておいて
vending
ください。
machine because it's
嫌いなメニューはあり
that's
ます
just the
か？
Pepsi logo.
あるのでしたら今のうちに聞いておきますけど。
No McDonald's here.
いえ、ないです。食べ物に好き嫌い。
大変結構な返答です。それではパパッと行ってきますね。
I mean, I can see Shiki not being a fan of spice. Without waiting for a warning, Ciel trots away to get in line, or without waiting for a response. Look at me just making things up. I guess this is an offer I can't refuse.
2人分の空席。できるなら角がいいな。
Still not sure if I'm mentally prepared for lunch with Ciel. Finding somewhere quiet and out of the way might make it less daunting. I scan the cafeteria. There's a few empty seats in the middle, but all the corner tables have already been claimed. There might not be any corner seats left for two at this.
あった。
The seats I spotted have just been taken by someone with a familiar face.
よー、殿こっちだこっち
The orange-haired delinquent waves an arm at me, paying no attention to the looks he's getting. I feel a migraine coming on. Still, I'm not mean enough to ignore him outright. All the other corner seats are taken anyway. In a way, he is a people repellent. As his friend, it's my right to abuse that ability to its fullest.
おっせえ今日は特別ゲストが来るって言ってなかったかのんびり重役出勤してんじゃねえですよ
ああ、そういえばそんなこと言ってたっけ。で、その特別ゲストはどこに？
Oh, you know, over in line, ordering food.
それがな昨日からスケジュールを抑えていたっつうのに今朝になって断られたなんでもお詫びをしたい人がいるから今日の昼食は忙しいんですだとよ
Narihiko's shoulders sag in disappointment as he slurps up his chikara udon.
お詫びを。
Actually, I have some udon in the cupboard I should make. I haven't had breakfast yet. Those words sound all too familiar.
特別ゲストってもしかして3年生？
Yeah, all my breakfasts this week have consisted solely of a cup of miso soup.
メガネの似合うショートカットで
Because it's
元
quick
気
and
よく
easy
動
and I
き
can
回っ
make it
て
at work and I can
そ
just
れでい
put it
て
in a
頼
cup
れる空気出しな
and
くて
drink it when I'm walking around, getting my tools ready for the morning.
なんだそれ、いつから俺の頭を盗んだ？
いやそういうわけじゃなくてさ、その
お待たせしました。こちらの席でよろしいですか、遠野くん。
Ciel appears next to her table with a radiant smile. She's carrying She's carrying a lunch tray loaded with food for two.
なんと！
おや、乾くん、奇遇ですね。
Yeah, sorry, bud. She's already moved past you. You know, we don't need a infiltration tool anymore. She's already met her mark. Ciel takes a seat without missing a beat. She sits down in front of me, next to Arihiko.
おあ
Arihiko starts sputtering like a dying engine. Maybe he's in shock due to a sudden stroke of luck. I get it. I was the same way not too long ago.
遠野くんもどうぞ。今日は遠慮せずにお腹をいっぱいにしてください。
What you get us? There's no way I can say no to that smile. I give in and take a seat across from Ciel.
それじゃあありがたくいただきます。
Clapping my hands together in thanks, I look down at the tray she brought. 3 dishes are lined up before me. Curry with rice, and curry udon. I'm confused.
先輩。
はい、何ですか、遠野くん。
いやこれどういうことでしょうか。
I mean, I fucking love curry, so I get it, Ciel. Like, if I make a big
だ
pot,
って
I'll just eat
遠
that
野く
for
んと
like
私のお
every
昼ご飯じゃないで
meal
すか。
for 4 days in a
他
row.
に何に見えます？
Just plop it down in my fridge, you know. Either make my own rice, or if I'm feeling lazy, go and get like those 2-minute cup rices you throw in the microwave.
もちろん。みんな
And that's
大
all you
好き
need.
定番のカレーですよ。
Might be a little heavy on carbs, but she's not wrong. The problem is that there's nothing but curry.
メニュー3つありますね。
2 are for her.
もちろんです。遠野くんは男の子なんですから、いっぱい食べてもらわ
no,
ない
other
と
way around.
私は一品でいいですから、どうぞお好きなものを選んでくだ
Yeah,
さい。
need some meat on your bones, something to stick to your ribs.
それじゃあカレーライスとカレーうどんで。
Otherwise, I'd just be eating 2 helpings of the same thing.
残さず食べてくださいね。遠野くん、好き嫌いないんですから。
I don't see an ounce of malice in Ciel's smile. This isn't a joke or a prank. She's actually doing this out of the goodness of her heart.
いただきます。
With no other choice, I dig my spoon into the curry. As soon as I do,
この野郎遠野くん！
I thought Arihiko's soul had left his body for good, but he springs back to life.
お前さんね、いつまで無二の親友を無視してるわけ？あれだろ一言。いや、常に生きていてありがとう乾くん。ところで今日は素敵な先輩を紹介するよ。おっと僕は忙しいのでそろそろ校舎裏に行く。あとは2人でご歓談の歩道とかいろいろさ。あと余ってるならそのカレーうどんちょうだいね。
I mean, I guess you can have the curry udon if you want, but you know, don't sit across from me. We need to sit next to each other if you're having it. Like fucking Arihiko seems like the kind of guy to slurp his noodles and get the broth flying everywhere.
やらないよ。
Fucking stain my shirt.
でも常に生きていてご苦労様、乾くん。
Arihiko's arms shoot forward. I deftly guard my curry udon from his thieving hand.
乾くん、遠野くんとお知り合いなんですか？
Yeah, we're best of friends.
何言ってんすか。知り合いも知り合い、中学時代からの大親友ですよ俺たちは。
Probably one of the few things he'll say with absolute sincerity.
そうだったんで
Well,
す
you
か。
know, when it's your only
ごめ
friend
ん
in
な
the,
さい。
in the
約
whole
束を保
world.
護してしまって
I
その
suppose
で
you
す
feel
ね。
strongly about it.
私が今朝ご迷惑をかけてしまったのが遠野くんなんです。
いいっす。筋の通った理由っすから。というか、名前さえ教えてくれたらこっちから問うのを連れ出したっすよ。で、こいつどんだけひどいことをやらかしたんですか？
Got us scolded on the train.
早朝の電車でばったり会って、
Mhm.
そのままおしゃべりしていたら他の乗客さんに注意されちゃいました。ダメですね。周囲の迷惑を考えないと。
Can't help it though. You're
トーマ君は
European. You
悪く
have
ない
no
のに
etiquette in public. We
私の
know.
代わり
We
に
know.
怒られてくれたんです。
You can't change who you are to your core.
はあ、早朝の電車っすか。ダベルなんて人の自由ですけどね。あ、
Arihiko, you're the kind of guy to listen to music on your phone, fucking on the phone speakers at full volume on the train.
今朝はボランティアの帰りです。公園のゴミ拾いですね。ほら、学校の掲示板でもあったでしょ。生徒は自主的に参加するようにって。
ああ、海浜公園のあれか。さすが先
By the
輩。
beach, we're
ご
near
苦
the
労様で
coast.
す。
Huh. Well, I guess it is Japan. Most of
そう
the
い
big
うこと
cities
す
are
る
near
か
the
ら教
coast.
師連中が当てにするんすよ。先行どもは好きあらばサボりやがるんだから。あんまり調子に乗らせないでほしいんですけどね。
いいんです。私が好きでやってるんですから。それに先生方もきちんと学校のことを考えてくれています。今の物言いは感心できませんよ、乾
I
君。
don't know about that one, Ciel. Like, let's be real here. Ciel bluntly shuts Arihiko down. From what I can tell, it seems like Arihiko and Ciel are on pretty good terms.
先輩、もしかして毎日ボランティアをやって
Oh,
るん
of
です
course
か？
not. That'd be horrific.
なんだとの知らないのか？シエル先輩と言ったら真の生徒会長って呼ばれてるぐらい便利な人でだな。
知ってる。肩書きだけの生徒会と違って
Yes.
何でも解決してくれる完璧な3年生だろ。
Maybe it's just because I'm looking at it from my American perspective, but the student council did literally fucking nothing. I can't think of a single thing our student council ever did, or what even their purpose was. I literally don't know. Which meant the only people joining it were people after that, I don't know, ego hit for, winning an election and having a title that makes them quote unquote better than someone. At least from my perspective, that's the only people who ever joined the student council. I guess they managed the yearbook stuff, but did they really though? Not really.
おう、1年じゃファンクラブまであるし、教師連中も厄介事が起こるとシエルに相談すれば安心だなんてのれんに腕押し状態だからな。今じゃ先輩が何をしたって文句を言う教師もいないぐらいだ。
Yeah, they never heard him complain about it because she just showed up. The way Arihiko is bragging, he almost sounds personally proud.
ファンクラブまでは知らなかった。すごい人だったんだ、シエル先輩って。うちの教師連中に頼りにされるなんてよっぽどのことだよ、それ。
Depends, more like a useful tool to delegate their annoying tasks to do. I look at her and wonder.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Ciel's spoon clinks against the plate as she stirs her curry. For a moment, I worry that we've embarrassed her, but then I'm reminded of the pressing issue before me. I have my own curry to eat, not to mention a full bowl of curry udon. My doctor says I shouldn't overeat, but I'd feel guilty if I don't eat everything Ciel got for me. I better wolf down the curry before I start feeling full. At least Japanese curry is like super mild, unless they specifically make it spicy. It's not like a kind of Indonesian or kind of Indian curry where it's all spice. But not all spice, like the spice called allspice, just all the spices. Meanwhile, Ciel and Arihiko talk about their families. I knew that Arihiko's parents are no longer with us, but I didn't know Ciel lived by herself too. Apparently, her apartment is fairly close to Soya Station. She lives past the business district by the south exit, rather than near the shopping district by the north, in a residential area that spreads eastward.
ど ところで遠野くんはどの辺りに住んでるんですか？
You know, just moved.
はい。
Right now, nowhere, because I haven't, gotten to the other place yet. I'm quietly eating my curry when Ciel suddenly turns the conversation to me.
どの辺りと言われると、その
Yeah.
返答に困るというか。
Since my place of residence changes today. Explaining my situation would be a bit awkward. I wish I could brush it off and just give some vague general answer, but yeah, just be like, oh yeah, around. It's impossible for me to lie when she's looking at me right in the eyes. Yeah, it's almost like I'm being drawn in, mysticized.
質問
I
で
don't think
返
that's
し
a
ますけ
word,
ど、
but
先輩はなんで俺なんかの家を知りたがるんです？
だって遠野くん、私のアパートの場所を聞いちゃいましたよね。
yeah, it's not
なのに
super
私だ
weird.
け遠野くんのお家を知らないのは
It's
不
a
公
fairly
平だ
normal
ね
thing to talk about. Like, what side of town do you live on?
変ですか？
まあ、ちょっと変です。不公平だなんて妙なことを気にするんですね、先輩は。
妙なことじゃないです。どこに住んでいるかわからないんじゃ、何かあった時お見舞いにも行けないじゃないですか。
Yeah, what if you break your leg and she wants to go sign your cast? My mouth stops mid-chew. Ciel's offhanded question gives me a sudden thrill.
お見舞いって、例えばの話、俺が風邪でもひいたら見舞いに来てくれるとか。
Well, yeah, someone's got to bring you the homework, I guess.
いえ、
Though I feel like that would fall to a
行きま
classmate, so that'd be like more like Yumiduka.
今のところそんな予定はありませんから。
Ah, isn't it sad, Sachin? Getting your class rep role stolen by a 25-year-old woman pretending to be a high school student. The joy I felt a moment ago was evidently premature. Although I don't think Ciel meant anything bad by what she said. She must just be naturally blunt.
俺の家もこの町ですよ。
Oh yeah, she's
徒
French.
歩にして30分弱。ほら、北口から郊外に上がると坂の上に住宅地があるでしょ。あそこの奥まで行ったところです。
Yeah, be real vague about it. Don't say the
ああ、
big
そうだっ
mansion.
た。今日から引っ越すんだっけ、お前。
Haruhiko jumps in as if spotting his chance. Yeah, time to puff up my friend, make him look impressive to this girl. And by association, make me look impressive. Ciel cocks her head quizzically.
引っ越したですか？遠野くん転校生だったんですか？
は？
What an odd thing for Ciel to ask. Haruhiko and I wordlessly glance at each other. I guess it'd be important to know because she would need to change her hypnotism story, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
あのですね、俺は1年からこの学校にいるし、先輩ともその頃から顔見知りだった
Yeah,
じゃな
what
い
a
ですか。
strange thing to ask.
なんだってそこで転校生だなんて単語が出てくるんです？
だって遠野くん引っ越したって。
引っ越したら誰だって転校生になるわけじゃありません。住所が変わっただけで学校は変わってないんです。今までは親戚の家にいたんですけど、今日から元の家に戻るだけなんですよ。
Ugh. Got like something stuck by my tonsil, or maybe it's just sore because I was sleeping with my mouth open. It's probably that one. Yeah, it's making it annoying to talk, and the coffee ain't helping. Ciel's strange confusion seems to clear up.
お家が変わっただけなんですね。
Yeah, I talked about it last time, but I did that in high school. Over the summer from my junior to senior year, I moved to the next town over. And realistically, I should have
そ
gone
れで今
to
は郊外の
to
住
the
宅地
better
に引っ
other
越
school
したと。
in my district now, but I didn't want to be the new guy who's only there for senior year. So I just made my 30-minute drive commute to school every day.
そう、坂の上にある仰々しいところに。
なるほど、合点がいきました。じゃあもしかして遠野くんのお家というのは、
I
あの
wonder.
遠野邸のことですか？
Gee, Ciel, what's his name again? I sense some hesitation in Ciel's voice. The people of Soya proper probably look at the giant house on the hill with a kind of reverence or contempt. been 7 years since I was last there, but in my memories, the Tono Mansion felt as big as a castle.
そういうことです。自分でも場違いだとは思ってるんですけど、引っ越しちまったものはしょうがないから。
その様子じゃあんまり乗り気じゃなかったのか。
He's the man of the people now.
自分の家って言っても7年ぶりならしょうがないか。
Shiki has awoken to his class consciousness and that, can no longer abide such a haughty estate.
どうだろう。まだ帰ってないからよくはわからない。まあ、俺にはお前の家っていう避難場所があるから気は楽だけど。
Yeah, and to have your older sister flirt with me. It'll be so much fun.
なんですかそれ。
Or just play
ざっ
mahjong,
けんな
which I guess they do a
俺ん
lot.
ちはお前のビバークポイントじゃねえですよ。
Mhm.
休みになりゃ泊まりに来やがって。おかげで姉貴は俺より友達の遠野くんびいきになっちまって年々小遣い減ってるんですけど。
I'm guessing that's more an Arahiko, but I keep that to myself. I don't want the conversation to turn sour. To be honest, the Tono family isn't something I feel comfortable talking about.
へえ、仲がいいんですね、二人とも。
よくねえ。俺と遠野は奪い合うことはあっても手を取り合うことはない。いわば敵同士ですよ、
Yeah, within punching
マドモアゼル。
でも遠野くんは乾くんのお家に泊まるぐらいなんでしょ。仲すごくいいじゃないですか。
違いますよ先輩。遠野は長い休みになると家に居づらいってんで逃げてきただけです。この野郎、
Shiki, you're such a
預けられたことで有馬の人たちに遠慮してんの。
Lived with these people for more than a decade, but still feels like a stranger in their house.
で、部屋が空いてる俺のところに転がり込んでくるってわけ。こいつは外見がいいから姉貴にも気に入られちまってさ、厚かましくも手ぶらで泊まりに来るんだぜ。
Arahiko clenches his fist in anger. I never knew that bothered him so much. I'll have to bring him something next time I go over.
預けられたって遠野くんがですか。
Nope. Arahiko claps his hand over his mouth. He laughs awkwardly, seeming to realize he said too much.
気にするなよ。別に悪いことじゃないんだから。
I continue eating, keeping my eyes on my curry.
そっか。まあそうだよな。
Yeah, I'm kind of not entirely solid on, the Aryuma's relations to the Tono main family. I know they're a quote-unquote branch family, but what does that mean? Are they like second cousins, third cousins? Like how far removed are they?
あれで文句を言ったら罰が当たるってもんか。
Because I can look through my family genealogy book and find some fourth cousins or something, and they would be complete strangers that we would know nothing about. And obviously, if something happens, I'm not gonna go like, oh, my kid needs somewhere to stay, and we're related. See, look at this chart. So look after them. Okay, bye. Arahiko nods emphatically. Part of me admires the way he can turn and fire back at anything.
ごめんなさい。
But then again, this is a pseudo-aristocratic family. Probably was aristocratic at some point, but I want to say in the Meiji Restoration they trimmed the royal families and all that, and doubly so after World War II.
その前のご家族とはうまくいってなかったんですか。
いや、そんなことはないっすよ。こいつ有馬の親御さんとは何の問題もないもんな。みんな超いい人たちだし。いや、有馬の親父さんは割と怖いけど。だって言う
Well, he
の
might
に
just not like
こいつは
you.
養子にならないかって話も断って休みになり
They seem like a fairly
俺のところに
straight-laced
逃げてきやがるんだ。本当に何が不満なんだお前は。
不満なんかあるわけないだろう。よくしてもらってるからこれ以上負担をかけたくないだけだ。
You ever thought about going to therapy, Shiki? I feel like you need to talk with like a professional. I finished eating my curry. Next up, an entire bowl of curry udon, just for me. But Ciel looks upset.
ごめん、シエル先輩。つまらない話だった。
そんなことないですよ。私の方こそ変なことを聞いてしまってすみません。
It's fine. You don't expect things to get this heavy when you're just making small talk. Trying to ask about a person's life, get to know them, and then all of a sudden you step in the landmine. It's like, whoops. Ciel tries her best to brush it off. Might be fine with Arihiko, since we've been friends since middle school, but it seems this sort of talk is too much for her. In fact, she's fidgeting like she'd rather be anywhere else.
ごめん先輩。俺ちょっと遠野と内緒話があるからさ。席外してもらえない？
Yeah, would you mind scramming? Can't believe Arihiko said that. In a roundabout way, no, in a very straightforward way, he just told Ciel to mind her own business.
何言ってるんだ。内緒話なんてどこでもできるし、第一先輩はまだ食べ終わって。
Oh, she finished it like 30 minutes ago, dude. Lick the plate clean. Oh. Somehow, despite her talking to Arihiko this whole time, Ciel has cleaned her plate.
いえいえ、承知していますとも。それでは邪魔者はここで。お先に失礼します
I
ね。
want curry. Maybe I'll go grocery shopping this weekend and buy some cubes. And make some. With a quick bob of her head, Ciel takes off. Leaving me and Arihiko alone at the table.
先輩も居づらそうだったし。
If you have a pressure cooker,
俺も
use
こうした
that to
方が
make
い
your
いとは
curry.
思ったけど
It
さ。
makes the vegetables and the meat
紙一重
super
じゃない
soft.
か。お前、
And it
好
really,
感度
really
下がっ
good.
た
The
ぞ。
flavor really soaks into them.
まあさっきのは仕方ねえだろう。口を滑らせたのは俺なんだし、嫌われ役ぐらいはね。
Arihiko noisily slurps his chikara udon. It must have gotten cold when he was focused on his conversation with Ciel.
お前、先輩のことを狙ってたんだろ。
そりゃ俺に限らず誰だって狙ってますよ、シエル先輩。うちの学校じゃ。でもまあ今の流れで気にするような性格だったらどうでもいい。遠野に内緒話があるっていうのも本当のことだし。
Arihiko sounds unusually serious. I break apart a pair of wooden chopsticks with a snap and start on my curry, udon. Wait, not even gonna like roll them together to get rid of all the splinters?
なんだよ。気持ち悪いな、急に深刻ぶって。
Supposedly that's a rude thing to do when you're eating out because it's like, oh, look at the cheap chopsticks this establishment provides where I need to get rid of potential splinters.
そんなんじゃねえって。俺が聞きたいのは実際遠野はどうなのかってこと。
Oh, you're such a good friend, Arihiko.
どうって何が？
I mean, you're going through a pretty major life-changing event at the moment.
だから遠野は小学生の自分からよそに預けられてたんだろ。どんな理由かは知らないが、それから7年も経つんだ。なんで今になって感動してた息子を呼び戻すんだ？お前さん
Because
の
he
父親は。
died.
感動されていたわけじゃない。なんとなく
Yeah, you were just
屋敷
kicked
から
out.
出るように言われただけだ。
遠野君君ね、なんとなくで子供を家から追い出す過程があったら、それは悲劇じゃなくて笑い話です
Especially
よ。
when they're 10.
ただし、ほら
And
一
you know,
歩
just
手
got out
前
of the hospital.
寒すぎて笑えねえけどな。
The truth is, my father and I had been on bad terms long before the car accident and hospitalization. The Tono family is a distinguished household dating back centuries, with customs very different to those of a regular family. My childhood memories are of an enormous old house and the oppressive, antiquated practices of the family within. The Tono family is wealthy, with shares in a wide variety of companies. My father, Makihisa Tono, wasn't much of a businessman, but the assets he inherited from my grandfather were more than enough to help his businesses make a fortune. A mansion from another era. A high-class lifestyle that valued history and decorum. Any child would have found life in that mansion unbearably dull. So, when I was told I could go live with the Arimas, I had no qualms about leaving my real family behind. I think it was the best outcome I could have asked for. I got along well with the Arimas. Keiko and Fumiyomi treated me no differently than if I had been their child by birth. I always wanted to be part of a normal family, and living with the Arimas gave me that opportunity. I don't have any regrets there. With one exception, my sister, Akiha. She was a year younger than me, and I left her behind at the Tono Manor. I wonder if Akiha resents me. I mean, why wouldn't she? I left her in that giant, lonesome house, with no one for company but that pig-headed old man. It's not hard to imagine what Akia thinks of me, of the brother who ran away from it all. Fortunately, your sister's relatively level-headed and just hates your dad instead.
確かになんとなくで
Which,
家
yeah,
か
he
ら追い
deserves
出さ
it.
れたらそりゃ笑うしかない。
だろ？おまけに二度と敷居はまたぐなっていう決め台詞付きだ。
Yeah.
世間様ではそういうのを感動って言うんだ。今まで聞かなかったけどな。お前、なんで感動されたんだ？
I don't know. It's like in the Eastern Roman Empire, you needed to be whole of body to become Basilius, and he's too weak and frail. He would never be accepted. He has lost the mandate of heaven. Yeah. I'd like to know the answer to that myself.
ま、話したくないならいい。
Arihiko picks up his bowl with both hands and drinks down the broth. Lunch always feels so short. I follow Arihiko's example and quickly down the rest of my food. I'll probably feel short because you spent half of it talking. Now chop chop, gotta eat. Yep, brooding in the classroom, one of Shiki's favorite things to do. Yep, wander around the school. Go end up in the tea ceremony club room. Honestly, I'm still not quite ready to go back. Don't really have anything to do, but maybe wandering around the school will help ease my nerves. Come to think of it, I made plans with someone this morning.
そうだった。電車の中で茶道部に顔を出すって話をしたんだっけ。
It must be fate that I remembered that at this exact moment. I've still got time before school locks up. Might as well check out the tea ceremony room. Oh yeah, that club that's been disbanded for a while. Because it's 2015 and who's into tea ceremonies? The tea ceremony club's room is hidden at the end of the student club's annex. It took me about 10 minutes to find this place. Far longer than I expected. Didn't help that nobody knew a thing about a tea ceremony club. I ended up going to the faculty room myself and looking it up on the floor plan, and now I'm here.
すみません。先輩、いますか？
I knock on the sliding door as I call out. A moment later.
おや、誰かと思えば遠野くん。
A face I know all too well emerges.
もしかして遊びに来てくれたんですか？いえ、これは遊びに来てくれたと見ました。ささ、
Feel sneeze coming.
そういうことなら中にどうぞ。ちょうど遠野くんと話したかったところです。
はあ。それじゃあ遠慮なくお邪魔します。
Yeah, I heard there were expired tea cakes, my favorite. I'm a little taken aback by Ciel's eagerness, but I did come here just to see her. I step into the tea ceremony room. Yep. Sure looks like a tea ceremony club room. Nice tatami. The room is far more authentic than I thought it would be. It's actually a full-on Japanese-style room.
驚いた。うちの学校にこんな教室があったなんて知らなかった。
Yeah, they're fucking
完
expensive.
全に趣味の部屋じゃないか。
Especially if you get, real full ones like that. The ones I have upstairs, they fold up into, thirds. So that way you can, pack them into bags and actually move them places. Because otherwise, moving tatami sucks.
私もそう思います。形式上は部活動のためということになってましたが、
They're, really awkward
校長先
dimensions.
生
They're,
の趣味で
6
しょう
feet
ね。
long and 3 feet wide.
もっとも私が入るまでは使われていなかったようですが。
She walks onto the mats ahead of me. With a clatter of porcelain, she begins preparing the tea.
先輩が来るまで使われていなかった。
Well, yeah, it's the tea club.
そうなんです。もったいないことに茶道部は部員数ゼロの架空部活に甘んじていたのです。お菓子は心の安定剤、和菓子の良さを伝える道が廃れているなんて、街から笑顔が消えるようなもの。いえ、 雨の日に捨てられた子犬を見捨てる
Japanese
ような
sweets
も
are
の。
fine. Though I have a crazy sweet tooth, so I can handle really sugary stuff. So Japanese sweets feel kind of, you know,
ですので、
on the more mild
先生
end
方
to me.
にお願いして茶道部を再開させていただいたんです。部員はまだ私一
Mostly
人な
because
の
they're
で
usually made without
5
using
人
processed
揃うまで
sugar.
の仮運転ではありますけど。
そうなんだ。先輩好きなんだ。お
Oh,
菓子。
they're fucking the best thing to live for. I love them. I even had a dream last night, surprisingly enough, where God, what did I have? It sounded really good, but I don't think I've ever had it before. It was kind of like a funnel cake thing, you know, like fried dough with powdered sugar on it. But then it had a scoop of ice cream, and it had like that cream cheese frosting. You know, that thick frosting that is a little more tangy, and some maraschino cherries on top. That came to me in my dream, and now I want it. And the ice cream was vanilla bean also. I didn't get to have it. I just saw it. I saw it in my dream, and I'm like, that looks good. That looks like some fucking fair food. And now my mouth is watering because I haven't had breakfast yet. And fried dough sounds really good.
はい、本命は洋菓子ですが、丁寧に作られたお菓子に寄せはありませんから。
God, but fried dough, I haven't had fried dough in over a decade. Jesus. I used to have it a lot when I was,
茶道
well,
部
I
の
don't
師
say a
匠と
lot,
して
but
地道に勧誘活動を続けているんです。
during winter events
そのお
when I
か
was
げ
in
で
the Boy Scouts, that
放
was
課
a
後と
thing
か休み
that
時
we
間と
do.
かこんな風に自由に部室を使わせてもらっているんですよ。
Like big inter-troop district kind of events. A lot of them would be making fried dough out in the woods, you know, real basic like. And you know, I lived up in the Northeast, so there's snow and cold everywhere, so fried dough hit extra good. And also, I forget the actual name for them, but essentially you heat up maple syrup and then you drizzle it onto snow, and it kind of turns almost taffy-like, and you can wrap it up with a like popsicle stick or just a regular stick and eat it like that. It's really good. I'm pretty sure it's just called like sugar on snow or something, and then the French name is pretty much exactly the same.
遠野くんも何かありましたらぜひ。私、放課後は大抵ここにいますから。
そうなんですか。
It's as if she's using the club room as her own private space, like a secret hideout. Though I'm flattered by Ciel's invitation, I wonder how this will help with the revival of the tea ceremony club.
けど、遠野くんも物好きなんですね。確かにお誘いはしましたけど、あれだけでここまで足を運んでくれるな
Well,
んて。
the treats. You said you had
もし
treats.
や、顔に似合わず肉食系ですか？
Her teasing causes the back of my neck to grow hot. I wasn't trying to hit on her. I just figured I'd stop by. But as I form my reply, I realize I'm making excuses.
いや、本当に特に理由はなかったんですけど。
Oh god, he's blacking out. But she does have a good point. I'm not usually the sort of person to take someone up on this kind of invitation. Come to think of it, why did I come here?
と、
Because you're trying
こ
to
れは
avoid
失
going
礼。
home.
強くかけすぎちゃいましたか？
She murmurs to herself and claps her hands. I squint against the red afternoon sun pouring through the windows. While I was busy admiring the room's decor, Ciel took some floor cushions out of the closet and laid them out on the tatami mats. Ooh, she's even got like one of the like good ceramic bowl cups for matcha. Looks like we're gonna have an actual tea ceremony.
あのさ先輩、俺こういう作法苦手なんですけど。
It's fine. You can just pick it up and drink it. You don't have to do the weird. Well, I guess weird's not the right way, but like the proper etiquette where you gotta like turn the cup a couple times, then pick it up and drink it in a certain way. I also really like matcha. It's a shame that I can't really get any here unless I special order it.
私だって流
Because
し
I
た
can
て
get
前
the
ぐらいし
matcha
か知りま
powder
せんよ。
at
遠野くんはどうぞ自由に
the grocery
楽に
stores
してく
here,
だ
but
さい。
it's more like hot chocolate, really sugary powder. You know, I don't want to say I super like bitter things, but I can appreciate the flavor profile of a bitter tea or coffee. I don't need it to be sweet to enjoy it. On the table are a teapot and cups, as well as some snacks to go with the tea. The snacks are nothing fancy, prepackaged mini cakes and rice crackers that can be found at any convenience store. I guess this really is just a place to drink tea and chat. Senpai, my favorite
気
crackers.
軽におしゃべりするだけなんですから、堅苦しいのはなしにしましょう。そういうのは楽しくありませんからね。
I also like really crunchy stuff like that.
正座とかしないで足を崩しちゃってもいいですよ。
She smiles softly as she pours 2 cups of tea.
はあ、真面目なんだかおおらかなんだかよくわからない人ですね、先輩は。
I take the cup of tea and bring it to my mouth. I had no part in it, but the Armas ran a tea ceremony school. Growing up in their households, I've become quite accustomed to spending time drinking tea in a room like this. Did they now? I drink slowly, savoring my time here as much as the tea. So you lived in a house that taught a tea ceremony school, and you don't know how to drink tea in a tea ceremony. Okay. And then I notice it. Ciel is staring at me with an uneasy look on her face.
どうしたんですか、先輩。浮か
ああ、その
You drink tea good.
なんだか遠野くんの方が落ち着いてるなってちょっと驚いてました。
うちはもともと厳しい家だったから、こういうのに慣れているだけですよ。それより先輩、話したかったって言っ
He's
て
like,
ました
look,
けど、
look, I got
何の
I got
話ですか？
scars on my knuckles from getting hit in the hand with a ruler as a kid a bunch. You want to see them?
おっと、そうでした。実はお昼に聞いたお話がどうしても気になって。
昼の話って、
That's a bit of a weird thing to get
俺
fixated
の
on,
実家のこと？
but okay. Ciel nods.
遠野くんが嫌じゃなければですけど。ほら、この時期に住まいを移すなんて何か良くないトラブルでもあったのかなって。
Oh yeah, my dad died.
うちの家の話
But
なんて
really, it's a good
聞い
thing.
たって
So
つま
don't
ら
worry
ないで
about
す
it.
よ。それこそ時間の無駄だと思うけど。
つまらなくてもいいですよ。私が聞きたいだけなんですから。
Hey, he didn't like me, I didn't like him. No love lost there.
はあ、物好きですね、先輩は。
Perhaps so. She smiles.
それじゃあ話の続きをしましょう。自分の家に戻ると言っていましたけど、
Yeah, give us your backstory
今
so
ま
I
で
can
ご
file
実
my
家には
report later.
戻られていなかったんですか？
はい。いろいろあって、7年近く実家に戻ってなかったんです。療養生活みたいなものでしょうか。で、遠野の家は何かと騒がしいので、落ち着ける親戚の家に預けられていて、それが昨日までの話です。
ああ、それは大変でしたね。
Nah.
その傷の方はまだ。
Oh yeah, I want to see the big cool scar in his chest.
そっちはバッチリ治っていま
It's
す。
even like a nice X shape
後遺症は貧血だけですけど、
that people forget to draw in all
親
the
父に
fan
言
art
わせ
all
れ
the
ば、
time because they're fake
事故に遭
fans.
う前からその気はあったそうだし、
Just like how in Blue
別に
Archive
気にしていません。
people always forget to draw the halos. Oh, bought my pot with filter.
そうだったんですか。辛いお話をさせてごめんなさい。つまりその親戚の方々が
Mhm.
10歳からの育ての親ということになるんですね。
そうですよ。有馬という家の人たちで、俺にはもったいないぐらいよくできた人たちでした。
They are good people. I find myself expressing far more gratitude than I really intended. I was fortunate to have been able to live with the Arimas for 7 years.
過去形なんですね。いずれご実家に戻ることが分かってい
Well,
たか
no, it
ら、
was kind of on his
有
part.
馬家の人たちはあなたを家族として接していなかった。
They try to
という
close
こ
the
とですか？
distance, but he kept him at arm's length and they kind of respected his boundaries.
いや、そういうわけじゃなくて、遠野家から呼び戻しが来るなんて全く思ってなかったし、俺も恵子さんたちもずっと一緒に暮らすと思っていました。
呼び戻しがないと分かっていたんですか？
Well, because fucking Makihisa sucks.
遠野くんは遠野家の長男なのに？
はい。本当のことを言ってしまうと、
Mm-hmm.
療養生活というのは建前なんです。俺と
Oh, so
親父は
Makihisa double sucks
犬
because
猿の
he's
中という
beefing
や
with
つ
the
でして、
10-year-old. Like,
怪
come
我
on,
を
dude.
理由に手よく放り出されたようなものなんです。
それはあなたの勘違いではなく。
うん、そうですね。
I mean, potentially, you were 10.
勘違いなら
But
それに越したことはありません。
I try my best to answer Ciel's question honestly. I feel myself smiling ever so slightly. Her concern is heartwarming. The idea that all this might have just been one big mix-up.
でもそれを確認することはもうできません。ついこの間、当の本人が奇跡に入りましたから。親父はぽっくり言っちまって、7年間の行き違いは
No,
こ
we
れで
can
お
like
しまい。
read through his diary and his journal,
未完のまま
and
終
learn
了
the
で
deep
す。
lore, and see how he really felt. Well, I know better than anyone that that's a big if.
お父さん亡くなられたんですね。それであなたは実家に戻ることになった。
はい。新しい当主からとっとと帰ってこいと矢の催促で、
You would get dragged
おっ
back.
かないんで今日から戻ることになりました。
The Tonos definitely have like a private security that does bad things in the background, I'd imagine. They'd bring you back one way or another. I wrap up the story quickly. Something seems to be on Ciel's mind. She takes a short breath and returns her gaze to me.
一つ聞いていいですか？
Her serious tone has me instinctively straight in my back.
どうぞ。俺に答えられる範囲でなら。
Yeah, you want to bond over dead dad trauma?
そうですか。では遠慮なく。あなたは先ほど有馬の家の人たちを過去形で話しました。
Mm-hmm.
あなた本人ももう切り離して考えている。
No, he's probably just
遠野くんはそれぐらい
compartmentalizing everything so that way
前のご家
it
族が嫌いだったんですか？
She means Keiko and Fumiomi, the people who raised me for the past 7 years. A father and mother who were not my real parents. A home that was not my own. But in spite of that,
いえ、大好きでした。血がつながってないことなんて気にも留めない人たちで、俺が一人で落ち込んでいるのが申し訳なくなるぐらいあったかかった。そういった疑いようのない愛情を信じられる自分もまんざらじゃないんだなって思いました。
but not anymore. Yes, these people love me. So as quickly as I can, I need to become a real member of their family. I told myself that constantly ever since I was young. Not even sure when I started, but I must have repeated those words to myself over and over until I was blue in the face.
でもダメだったんですね。
はい。熱しやすく冷めやすい性格って言いますけど、きっと自分はそうなんです。
I've never heard that saying in my entire life, and I have no idea what it means. No matter how much love they gave me or how happy I felt, the next day it would all feel like it had been to someone else. Those feelings never lasted, never felt like mine, no matter how much I wanted them to. Okay, even more so. I was kind of joking before, but you really should like go talk to someone, Shiki. Like this ain't healthy. That's why, at the very least, I try my best every day not to forget the fact that they cared about me.
家族に関してはそれが顕著なんです。父親母親が向けてくれる愛情より強い愛情を返せない。なんで
I couldn't shake the idea that as long as I stayed like that, I'd never truly be part of their family. Maybe it's childhood trauma. Wherever I go, my family always feels like strangers. Ciel is silent. She averts her eyes and shrugs her shoulders apologetically.
ほら、 つまらない話だった。
Well, that's probably because, like, when you were 5, you saw your real parents get killed in front of you, and then, you got brainwashed and adopted by their killers and lived in their house, and then got another pair of fake parents afterwards. You're kind of fucked up.
すみません先輩、時間を無駄にしちゃって。
いえ、そんなことないです。すごく有意義なお話でした。
Ciel forces a smile in an effort to lighten the mood.
でもちょっと意外でした
Yeah, that
ね。
smile's gotta carry a lot of weight.
私
No.
遠野くんって
That's a-
のんびりしている子だなって
that's a pretty heavy
思ってましたから。
基本的に
No,
俺
he's
はのんび
fucking
りしてま
moody
すよ。
and emo.
できるだけ今を楽しむってのを座右の銘にしましたから。終わってしまうことより先のことを楽しみにしていた方がハッピーでしょ。
Ciel doesn't need to know I stole that from Arihiko.
先のことを楽
Yeah,
し
she
み
might look at him
に
in a good
で
light.
すか。
Don't wanna trick her like that.
いいですね、そういうの。私も全力で応援したくなっちゃいました。しかし、できるだけエンジョイするですか。それじゃあ差し当たって、
Hooray!
明日から一緒に登校とか。
Her sudden suggestion catches me off guard, and finally makes me notice how long I've been going on about myself. I'm usually not like this.
ああ、いや、
Yeah, she must have put
そういう
something
意
in
味
the
では
tea.
なくて、楽しむってのはあくまで希望的観測に過ぎないというか、先輩を口説くならもっと事前に段階を踏むというかですね。
Well, you can walk to school as friends.
もちろん冗談です。遠野くんが紳士であることは私も分かっていますから。
Part of me feels a little disappointed to hear that, but I'm glad to have avoided any misunderstanding. I collect myself and bring the teacup to my mouth. After talking for so long, the tea has grown cold, just like the coffee in my pot right now. Because I had taken it off the hot plate I have on my desk and put it somewhere else for some reason. Like a fucking moron. We kept talking for about an hour after that. It was fun, and Ciel was attentive the whole time. Still, it's not something I'm used to. I suddenly feel very tired. Her favorite parts seem to be my story about the class trip in middle school. Apparently she didn't get one, as she caught the flu that day before and had to miss it.
中学2年生ということは14歳の頃の遠野くんですか。その頃の遠野くんも見てみたかったです。
Those words, paired with that smile, just about make anyone turn red. I could keep talking to Ciel forever, but the sun is beginning to set. It's about time for her to close up the tea ceremony room, so I decide to make my own way home. Yep, time to slap your knees and go, "Welp!" And just stand up and go. Who are we gonna ruminate on? Our dead dad that we have really complicated feelings about? Our poor little sister, or some random kid in the back of our mind? Or, well, probably, that redheaded girl, not the other one, because, we're still under the brainwashing that Makihisa probably did to make us forget about Shiki. Yeah, someone else. Or if we're even gonna get that. Because, we're on the near side routes. There's actually quite a few people living in the mansion other than Makihisa and Nakia. A number of relatives occupied the main building. The servants, on the other hand, stayed in a separate one. Okay, so the servants do have their own separate housing building. They're vague, but I do have memories of playing with children other than just Akiha. I seem to recall... I can't quite remember. A lot of people came in and out of the mansion back then. According to Keiko, Makihisa was trying to aggressively expand the business at the time. She said it was so busy back then that it would be stranger if I did remember anyone.
そうだった。
Or everyone.
それより今は親父のことだ。
Memories of my father spring to mind. I don't recall us doing anything together. Makihisa was a strict father. He was quiet, rarely showing much emotion. Oh, he's the kind of dad that, like, wouldn't hug his kids or say he loves them. Because, you know, that's showing weakness or something. Do not leave the house. Do not go into town. Always remember that people are born into their status and those without our noble blood are inferior stock. Oh, wow. Fucking Makihisa definitely had, like, skull measuring equipment in his office. Such was the ethos of Makihisa and the Tono family at large. I rebelled against their principles. I felt my father's teachings were wrong. It wasn't from any fault in his logic, though. He just couldn't convince me that his beliefs were right. Good! Look, Shiki, you had a good head on your shoulders even as a kid. It seemed strange, but they felt behind the times even as a child. I wasn't the only one who disagreed with Makihisa, but I was the only one who did it to his face. As a result, I often left the manor in contempt of his rules, which ultimately led to my accident. The world that lies beyond the manor is an unsightly place. It is a hemlock of the mind. How ironic. In the end, my father was right about that in one way. After waking up in the hospital, he never came to visit me, not even once. My last memory of him is the day I was discharged from the hospital, the day he commanded me to stay with the Arima family. And now he's gone. Not seeing my father before he died doesn't particularly bother me. That must speak volumes about our relationship. Yeah. What's, where are we following up on here? Yep. Okay, so, Kaku, just let us in. Do we just run around and explore? Or be a nice little boy? No, get the urge to explore, you know, let's snoop. I'd like to have a look around the mansion a bit while I have the time. It may be my own house, but seeing a place this fancy has me feeling restless.
今に行く前にちょっと他の部屋を見
Yeah,
て
those
回って
nice
いいですか
shiny hardwood floors make
なん
me
ていうか
look down at the hardwood under my computer chair, which has a ring worn into it where the wheels are just going back and forth, and I need to re-varnish the floor, but I probably won't do that until I move out, because I personally don't care. I can beat up the floors as much as I want, but my landlord probably cares. I think there was a rec room on the second floor of the West Wing.
覚えていらっしゃるのですね。ですが、申し訳ありません。
Oh.
秋葉様がご当主になられてから、遊戯室や図書室、サロンといった欧米は
Really?
施
Even the
錠されてお
library?
ります。長男であらせられる四季様であっても、秋葉様の許可なく使用すること
I
は
feel
で
like
き
she
ませ
wouldn't
ん。
have any issue with, you know, going to the library, at the very least. I mean, I can see Akia against, you know, going to the recreation room and just, like, shooting pool or something, but...
ああ、そうなんだ。それは残念。
I used to have a pool table in my basement growing up. It was nice. I actually got pretty good at it. But now I'm not as good. Like, I'm decent. I can make some shots, and even some surprising ones that I didn't think I had in me. But I'm no pro. Like, I'm not a pool shark. I look away, embarrassed at having been denied so easily.
やっぱりそう自由には使わせてもらえないですよね。
いいえ、ご挨拶がお済みになれば、すぐにお許しいただけますよ。きっと。あ、でも、鍵のかかっている部屋に入るときは、私どもに一言かけていただけると助かります。
Yeah, don't want to lock you in there by accident when they're doing the nightly rounds, or so that way they can actually go in there and clean up afterwards.
塔の邸は外だけでなく、うちのセキュリティも厳しいので、許可されていない部屋に入ってしまった場合、身の安全は保証できません。
Yeah, some weird bandaged Oji-san will sneak in and fucking stab you through the chest.
保証できないってまた大げさな。
There are
い
trap
やで
doors
も
in this
飛んでくるんですか
mansion apparently if Kagetsu told you anything to go by.
いいえ、矢より恐ろしい 規則に厳しい当主様の雷が。
The housemaid chuckles like she just said something funny and hurries me down the hall again. She must want me to wait in the parlor first.
お帰りなさい、四季様。どうぞ今日からよろしくお願いします。
I continue to follow timidly behind her, unable to respond in any adequate way to her greeting. Just like, thanks, you too.
それでは。
She smiles mischievously. The housekeeper gives a slight bow and leaves the room.
参ったな。
Well, you sit on the couch, kick your feet up. You live here. Take your shoes off. My muttering echoes sadly through the extravagant parlor. Do I stay here sitting nervously? Or do I take a look around the mansion? We'll probably stretch our legs? Nah, just wait. Okay. I think I'll just wait here. I don't think walking around would do much to calm me down. Regardless, speaking with Akia should be my first worry. She is the head of the family now, after all. I spend my time sitting on the sofa. The courtyard I see from the window is exactly how I remember it. You could fit 4 tennis courts on it. Behind the courtyard, there should be a mammoth garden. And past that, the forest. I remember...
おや、戻る前に立ち寄ったのだが、先客がいたとはね。
Oh, so we meet Psyche either way. I look back at the sudden voice and my breath catches in my throat. Standing at the door to the hallway connected to the lobby is a mummy. He's a strange man dressed head to toe in black, except for the obvious bright purple dress shirt he's wearing. That is not black whatsoever.
こんにちは、四季君。塔の邸にようこそ。というのは間違いか。君の場合、お帰りというのが正しかった。
You're so weird. The man, who, based on his voice, I'd assume is in his 30s, enters the parlor like he owns the place. There's not a trace of color on him. His entire body is wrapped in black bandages. Also, where do you even get black bandages, for, medical purposes? I know they make black athletic tape, but if it's, medical bandages, those are white for a reason. It looks like he stepped straight out of a mystery novel.
あなたは
覚えていないのか。
No.
そうか。私だよ。佐伯ゴートだ。
Okay.
君が子供の頃に何度か顔を合わせたことはあったが。
Yeah, did you look like this?
覚えていても一致はしないだろう。
Psyche? Was there a branch family with that name? More importantly, this man.
構わんよ。キーの視線には慣れている。私は事故で顔を焼いてしまってね。ずいぶん前からこうでもしないと出歩けない体になっている。アキハにも煙たがられているが、こればかりは仕方ない。
I mean, probably just
彼
because
女
she
にも
doesn't
責
like
任
you.
の一端はあることだしね。
So, you just gonna monologue mysteriously at us again, or are you actually gonna say anything of import? Goto Psyche walks over to the cart, pours himself a cup of tea, and brings it to his mouth. There's an air of pompousness to his movements, but none of it comes across as out of place. The man possesses a natural composure. There's an elegance to everything he does.
しかしまあ、よくも帰ってこられたものだ。君のことだよ、四季君。牧久の言いつけを破って屋敷を抜け出した結果、くだらない事故に巻き込まれて脱
Well, you're
落
not
した。
wrong there, but that's just the cover story.
脱落。そう、脱落だ。君は ご両親からの投
Like
資
in
を投げ捨
reality,
て自らの義務を放
you know,
棄
it
した
wasn't
脱落
Shiki's
者
fault at all.
にもかかわらずこうして屋敷に戻り
He did
ア
literally
キハ
nothing
の
wrong
兄とし
except
て振
maybe,
る舞おうとし
I
てい
don't
る
know, take Akiha away from her lessons, but you know, Shiki would have killed him anyway.
そんな自分が恥ずかしいと思わないのかね
I repressed the urge to stand up, sinking further back into the sofa instead. The contempt in Goto's eyes is obvious, but there's no reason to escalate things further. Besides, he isn't wrong.
おや反論はないのかな
ないですよ。義務を放棄したのは事実ですから。
Yeah, but he was also 10.
でも脱落者とか投資とか家族の話にそんな言葉を使うあなたこそ恥ずかしいとは思わないんですか？
家族の話だからこそ的確な言葉を選んだんだよね養育は一族の将来への投資だ知性の人間はともかく選ばれた血筋尊い家系において
Yeah,
個人
yeah,
の
yeah.
自由は
Heavy's the
存
head
在
that
し
wears
な
the
い
crown and all that.
自由いや
Societal
自意識
expectations
と
and
言っても
whatnot.
いいなそれらは成人した後一族を背負えるようになって初めて獲得できる権利のはずだ君は遠野の子でありながらそれを理解していなかった秋葉とは似ても似つかぬ三流だまあ
I mean,
一
and
度
to
地に
be
落ちていなが
fair,
ら帰ってくる高顔さだけは
it's not his fault.
一流と言えなくもないがね
Didn't get the chance to be brainwashed since birth by, you know, the fucking Tono family ways. He just kind of got dropped into it as a child. I was like, well, guess I live here now.
そう睨むな四季君今のはただの客観論だよ私個人の評価じゃ
I don't know, man. I get the feeling you don't like us.
誤解させてしまったようだが私は君の帰還に反対はしていないどちらかというと賛成派だしそもそも遠野家現当主の決定でもある
Yeah, you don't even go here.
よそ者である私にどうこう言えることでもないだろう
You don't know. An outsider? Isn't part of a branch family?
佐伯家は祖父の代から遠野家とは対等の付き合いをしている現代風に言うとビジネスパートナーというやつだ
Do you pay rent?
今日は商談に来ただけでね長引いてしまったが色良い返事をもらえて上機嫌で帰るところだったのさああこの陰気な姿でせっかくの
Yes,
気
please
象に
leave.
水を差すのも忍びない
Like, you're in your 30s and you're fucking
この辺りで失礼す
beefing
る
with a high schooler. Like, this is embarrassing. The bandaged man, Goto Saiki, leaves the parlor, his lips curled in a sarcastic smile. I bite my lip thinking of the word Saiki used. Failure. He's right. The word describes my place in this house perfectly. The girl returns exactly 10 minutes later.
四季様、何かお気に障ることでもありました？
Yeah, some fucking weird guy harassed me at my own house, but you know. Seems to be normal around here. She must be able to tell that Goto Saiki's words have affected me.
いえ、なんでもないんです。ちょっと気をされているだけで。あ、お茶、ありがとうございました。美味しかった。
お上手ですね。こちらこそお褒めいただきありがとうございます。
She smiles bashfully, brightening the mood, or brightening the room,
それより本題ですね。
but also that.
お待たせいたしました。秋葉様のご用事がお済みになりましたので、執務室においでください。
Time to go to the principal's office. We ascend the large staircase in the lobby to the second floor. Akiha's office, the heart of the Tono family. I was never allowed to enter Makihisa's office when I was a child. A room occupied by each generation's family head. And that room now belongs to my sister. Apparently, the housekeeper's name is Kohaku, Guaku gives me a slight bow before exiting the room. The only people left in the room are myself and two girls I don't recognize. No, only 7 years. The dark-haired girl casts a dignified gaze at me as she speaks. My head is blank. The gears on my brain have stopped turning. All I managed to do is nod and agree. I'm pathetic. Though I suppose it may be understandable. She looks so different from how I remember her. Yeah, with her big dumb bow on her head. Or was it on her shirt? I can't remember. I know her like child design in the original had some big bow. The black-haired girl narrows her eyes, as if she were measuring up a stranger.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing coherent escapes my lips as my mind struggles to catch up. Still trying to figure out if she's really my sister or not, even though she's already clearly accepted who I am.
話には聞いていましたが、本当に体調が不安定なんですね。時間は無駄にしますが、
Can we at least sit on those uncomfortable looking chairs? Instead of, standing up awkwardly. She frowns. Her words seem to have more bite to them than I expected.
いや、体調はそう悪くない。
Yeah,
秋葉
Kia's
があ
definitely a
んまりに
biter.
も変わってたんで、びっくりしたというか。
Yeah, you've grown.
7年も経てば変わります。ただでさえ私たちは成長期だったんですから。
Wow, you must have been a tall kid.
それとも、いつまでも以前のままだと思っていたんですか？
Walking around with that dopey expression on your face.
いや、それは。
I stammer, crushed under the weight of her quiet ferocity. I feel bad. After all this time. It hadn't even occurred to me to think about how Akia might have changed. I had only thought of her as the little girl who used to follow me around. The last 7 years haven't only been hard on me. I'm an idiot for it to only sink in now that she's right here in front of me.
面目ない。正直考えが足りなかった。でも、それにしたって秋葉は変わったよ。昔より格段に美人になった。
There we go, butter her up. Clearer words finally filter their way out.
ありがとうございます。兄さんは以前とあまり変わってはいませんね。
Akia speaks coldly, her eyes closed. Well, I had expected something like this. She must resent me for leaving the family. A silence falls over us as we take a second to study one another. I was unable to say anything worthwhile to a sister I hadn't seen in 7 years. Akia stares at me with a guarded expression, inspecting me as if I were some intruder. Though to her, I very well may be.
まあいいでしょう。体調が良いの
Yeah, it'll
な
work.
ら話を済ませましょう。今回の移転について、詳しい事情は聞いていますか？
いや、詳しい事情は何も。いいから屋敷に帰ってこいって話だけだ。
Mm-hmm.
親父が亡くなったことは新聞で知ったけど。
It was probably in the business section, which, why are you reading the business section? You don't have any fucking stocks. It's not at all surprising that the death of someone presiding over a massive conglomerate would make the business section of most papers. We live in a world where a son, disowned by his family, learns of his own father's death on the internet. The news had reached me after his funeral had already happened, like I was a complete stranger.
申し訳ありません。お父様のことを兄さんに知らせなかったのはこちらの失策でした。
Akia lowers her head quietly. Her hair is beautiful. But that's not important right now. Yeah, weird thing to fixate on, but my wording was the problem here.
そこは気にしなくていいんじゃないかな。
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone even if I got invited.
俺が行ったって死人が生き返るわけでもないんだ。逆に親戚筋に合わなくて助かった。
I can't imagine they'd be kind to me.
そうですか。
Yeah, especially the ones that know the truth.
そう言っていただけると私も少しは気が楽になります。
I'm lucky to have such an understanding sister. A funeral is an occasion that offers closure to those unable to accept the passing of a loved one. Well, my relationship with my father ended a long time ago. I have no obligation or desire to attend something like that for Makihisa. I haven't once thought about how I'd say goodbye to him.
でもそうなると誰が俺を呼び戻したんだ？親父の遺言ってわけでもないんだろ？
Nope. He left you jack shit.
兄さんをこちらに呼び戻したのは私の決定です。いつまでも遠野の長男が有馬の家に預けられているのはおかしいでしょ。
Except maybe the knife.
どんな欠陥があろうとあなたは遠野の
Sorry,
人
Kia, I
間な
won't
のです
cut
か
you
ら。
off like that again. You know, I'm a little conflicted whether I want to think he actually left Shiki, you know, the Nanaya knife as kind of, as like, I don't know, his last piece of fucking human emotion he has in his soul. Be like, he should probably have this. It does belong to him, kind of thing. Not because he feels bad, but just because it's something where he would feel it's right for him to have it, or if it's just something Kohaku slipped Shiki because she thinks it'd be funny to see what happens. I accept the word defect without a second thought. My father used it often. It doesn't bother me anymore. If anything, she's right.
お父様、遠野牧久が亡くなった以上、遠野の血筋は私と兄さんだけです。血は守られなければいけません。お父様がどのような考えで兄さんを有馬の家に預けたかは知りませんが、理由が定かではない以上、遠野指揮をこちらで監督するのは家族として当然のことでしょ。
So when did you learn the truth, Akia? That, you know, Shiki wasn't your real brother? Because is that something you were told growing up, that he was adopted? That I don't know. That seems like something that Makihisa would like force into her education. Like, he may be part of our family, but he's not a real Tono. Don't get too chummy with him. Or is that something that was more kept under wraps? I don't know. And then, you know, only finds out going through the documents later. I'd imagine she knew from the start. Yeah, she would. That makes sense. What am I talking about? I'm crazy. Akia's words are quiet but firm. As if she were shutting down any possible objections I could have before I even raised them.
監督するか。じゃあもし遠野の家に帰ることを拒否してたら
You would have
ど
been
うなってい
forced.
たんだ？
They would issue an edict to the fucking Arima family to hand you over.
そんな自由はあなたにはありません。有馬の人間にも本家からの決定を拒む権利はありません。私も兄さんも遠野家に育てられたものです。少なくとも成人し社会的に自立するまではあなたは遠野家に隷属する義務があります。
Like, I mean, I guess you could just move in with Arihiko and just live at his house. Makihisa used to say the same thing. Parents are responsible for raising their children and preparing them for society. Just like any good business, a family can't be sending defective products to market. It would only serve to harm their good name and degrade society as a whole. An individual unwilling to remove such a product has no right to be a parent, and a child unable to bear the responsibilities given unto them has no place in the family. Makihisa Tono spoke of this many times to Aki and I, almost like it was more for him than us.
親父の口癖だった
Yeah,
な。
he seemed like a fart smeller.
じゃあ俺を呼び戻した理
Definitely
由
not
は
a
単
smart
に
fella. She cuts me off without any consideration for her poor brother, disowned by his narrow-minded father.
どのような経緯であれ、あなたが遠野家の長男だからです。それ以外に理由があるとでも。
Just another day of cleaning up loose ends for the head of the Tono family. I don't say it like that.
She just wants her big brother back. 言うまでもありませんが、私の発言は遠野家当主のものとして受け取ってください。戸籍上ではあなたは私の兄ですが、この家における上下関係はまた別のものです。兄さん、私はあなたを兄として尊重しますが、同時にこの家を預かる者としてあなたを遠野家の財産として扱います。7年前のことは忘れて、私たちは当主とその家人であることを肝に銘じてくださいますよ。
Akia speaks without emotion. This is a command from the head of the house, rather than my sibling. It carries an air of cold detachment. But...
それはそれでわかりやすい。はっきり言ってくれた方が俺もすっきりする。
Well, it's probably detached, you know, because it probably hurts her to say it like that, too. This is the natural way of things. There's no reason for me to be offended.
私の言葉を理解していますか？私は兄さんより上の立場
Yeah, he
で、
doesn't care.
それを承諾しろと一方的に宣言
So
した
to
つもりです
mentally
けど
cut ties with the Tono, so you being above him, it just makes sense.
わかってるし、文句はないよ。だって、どう考えてもこの扱いになるだろう。今の、むしろ、7年間好き放題に生きてきた俺に、妹としてきちんと礼を取ってくれる明葉に感謝してる。
Yeah, just glad you didn't call me back to give me a dressing down and then kick me out the door like the old man.
けど、明葉の考えは別にして、親戚の連中がよく納得したな。俺を有馬の家に預けろって言い出したの。
Convince
確か
is,
親戚の人たちじゃなかったっけ？
you know, carrying a lot of weight in this sentence.
そうですね。
Mm-hmm.
ですが、今の当主は私です。親戚の方たちの進言は全て却下しました。この件に
Yeah,
関
there wasn't
して
much
意見を挟む
diplomacy
という
going
こ
on
と
in
は
this one.
私にひいては遠野に逆らうことだと明言しましたから。
I'm stunned. Even Makihisa wasn't able to ignore the relatives. But Akia was able to persuade them? Oh, if anything, she probably argued them into submission. I see. Akia has grown in more ways than one. And as her brother, it's a little terrifying.
兄さん、ぼーっとしたお顔をされていますが、何か？
ああ、いや、感心したというか、感動したというか。
当たり前です。
Mm-hmm.
そうでもなければ。
Yeah, they probably thought like, ooh, how lucky Makisa's gone. We get to bully around a teenage girl for a couple of years to get our way. But nope. Came in with the iron glove and just squished them.
話を戻します。兄さんには今日からここで暮らしていただきますが、ここにはここの規律があります。
Yeah. No cell phone. No going out
そりゃ
past
無理だよ、明葉。今さら俺がお行儀いい人間に戻れるわけないし。
Yeah, that shit's gone.
戻ろうって気もないんだから。
いいえ、何があろうと戻っていただきま
You
す。
think this guy remembers which spoon you're supposed to use for salad or soup?
子供じゃあるまいし、
Which order you're
試す
supposed to
前
set
から
them
泣
up
き言
on
は
the
結
table?
構です。
Hell, even which hand you're supposed to hold the fork and the knife in?
それとも、
Myself
私に
personally,
でき
I
たこと
hold
が兄さんにはできな
my
い
fork
と
in
おっ
my
しゃる
left
んです
hand
か？
and knife in the right. And if I'm actually using my fork to like stab things and pick it up, I actually flip it inverted. So that way the scoop isn't like a shovel. It's more like coming up over the top. It pierces through me like an icicle, which I think is the proper way you're supposed to use a fork, according to like table manner etiquette. Ugh. Pierces through me like an icicle. There's no doubt about it. 7 years worth of resentment is finally being blasted my way now.
わかった。できるだけ努力はしてみる。
努力はするですか？都合のいい
Look,
返
he's
答
trying.
ですね。
Meet us halfway here. It's gonna be an uphill battle.
努力をすれば誰であれ報われるとでも。
Yes.
私が求めているのは結果だけですので、そのつもりで。
I don't know, I'm doing full pass or fail, not even the A, B, C, D kind of grade. I'm unable to form any kind of response in the face of a ruthless assault.
いいです。兄さんは今まで自由気ままに暮らしていたんですから、すぐに生活を正せとは言いません。
Yeah, it'll be a work in progress.
最短で1週間、最長で1ヶ月の猶予を差し上げますので、どうぞ死ぬ気で努力してください。
Brr. I don't think I'll be getting any more time after that. This must be how Akia makes compromises.
あの
Yeah,
で
she's
すね
trying. She's just not
そ
very
こま
good
で
at
無
it.
茶な話ではありま
Not
せ
much
ん
of
か
a
ら。
people person.
現在、屋敷には兄さんと私しか住んでいません。うるさ型の親戚筋がいては、兄さんも落ち着けないでしょうし、私も煩わしいので、人払いは済ませました。
Hooray! Give him the old boot. Wait a second. Had them leave, then
お前屋敷に居候してる親戚全員を追
why?
い出
It's,
したのか
it's their house.
ええ、どうぞお気になさらず。
Yeah, unless they're on the lease, you can fucking kick them out whenever you want.
家と財産を失
They're
いな
not
がら、
paying.
何の努力もせず、お
I was
父
about to say
様
the
の温情
mortgage,
にす
but
がっていただ
this
けの
house is
方々
definitely
です
paid off, so they're just
遅かれ
paying
早か
property
れ
tax, I'd
屋
imagine.
敷から出て行ってもらう予定でした。
Which for an estate this big would be astronomical. It'd be fucking ridiculous.
ああ、使用人たちも大部分に暇を出しましたが、私と兄さん付きのものは残しましたので、問題はありません。
いや問題ないってありすぎるだろ。そんな勝手をしまくったら次の親戚会議でやり玉にあげられるぞ。
And she'll just have to beat them down there too.
もうつべこべ言わないでください。兄さんだって屋敷の中に人があふれかえっているより、私たちしかいない方が気持ちは楽でしょ。
Yeah, we have to draw less characters and don't have to worry about certain interactions and whatnot. It's easier for the narrative. She's definitely right about that.
いやでもだな、親父だって親戚の意見には逆らわなかった
Oh,
の
that's because
に
your dad was a bitch.
そんな暴君みたいなわがままを
Makisa
通しちまって。
Like, not just
そうで
because
す
he was a
ね。
bad dad.
だからお父様は兄さんを有馬の家に預けたんです。けれど私、子供の頃からあの人たちが大っ嫌いでしたから。
ごめんですってアキハ。
ああ、もういいから、私なんかの心配は
That'll be
結構です。
fine. End of the
そんな
day,
こ
she's
と
the
よ
one
り
in charge. They
兄
can
さんは
fucking
これから
huff
の
and
ご
puff
自
all they
分の
want.
生
Not gonna
活を
change
案じてく
anything.
ださい。いろいろ大変なことになるって目に見えているんだから。
Akia says this curtly, forcing the conversation in another direction.
状況はご理解いただけたとは思いますが、兄さんはまだ有馬での暮
Well,
らしが
yes, he
抜
has
け
been
き
a
れていない
commoner
様子。
for the past 7 years.
ま
Going to public school.
それもいいでしょう。そのための使用人です。この先わからないことがあったらこの子に言いつけて。
Thank you for at least, pairing us up with her childhood friend.
翡翠、
Akia, without turning, calls the girl waiting in the back of the room. The girl named Hisui takes a step forward and gives a bow. It's a polite, though emotionless bow, like servitude made manifest.
この子は翡翠、うちの使用人です。これから兄さん付きの次女にしますが、
Yep,
よろしいですね。
wouldn't have it any other way. So she's another one of the housekeepers. Wait, what?
次女ってつまりその。
わかりやすく言うと、召使いということです。
Do we have to pay her out of our own pocket? I don't believe it. Both the key and the girl look like nothing out of the ordinary has been said.
ちょっと待ってくれ。召使いとか大げさすぎないか。
Not in this house.
自
You
分の
can't.
ことぐらい自分で面倒を見れるっていうか。
Don't even know
食
where
事
the
の支
laundry
度や洗
machines are.
濯もですか。
Key is sure on point.
ともかくこの屋敷に戻っ
I
て
mean,
きた
he
以上、
could. He's fucking
私の指示に
17.
は
He
従
can
っ
he
て
can
も
make
ら
his
い
own
ます。
breakfast and wash his own underwear.
有馬の家ではどう暮らしていたかは知りませんが、これからの兄さんは遠野家で暮らす遠野家の長男なんです。 相応の待遇は義務として受け入れてください。
My gaze wanders over to the girl clad in maid attire. Yasui shows little emotion on her face. She looks like a doll as she returns my gaze.
それじゃあ翡翠、兄さんを部屋に案内してあげて。
Thanks, Sui.
この人は右も左もわからない子猫と変わらないようですから。この広い屋敷でいきなり迷子にならないようにね。
Well, this mansion has a pretty straightforward layout.
かしこまりました、秋葉様。
Yasui bows to Akia and walks towards me quietly. She looks towards me, but her gaze is fixed in a way that ensures our eyes don't meet. Yeah, she's like looking between your eyes or like right above them. Her steps are measured, but far from slow. I can tell she's done this for a long time.
あ、それと兄さん、長男といえど、
Yeah, we
こ
can't
の
go
屋敷
play
では禁止
billiards.
され
We
た
know,
事
we
柄
know.
立ち入ってはいけない場所があります。
This place
それを
also
犯
seems
し
like
た
the
り
kind of
する
place
こ
that
と
have
のないよ
indoor
うに。
bowling alley, but probably not, because Makihisu would probably consider that like low brow.
翡翠には兄さんのお守りも命じてありますから、翡翠の進言にはできる限り耳を傾けてください。
それ
Yeah, she
お
has
守
a
りじゃ
cool
なくて
sword.
監視役って言わないか。
She uses it in her EX attack.
兄さんが規則正しい生活をしてくだされば、翡翠もそんな役割から解放されます。それではまた夕食の席で。
Kia must be busy if she can't spare any more time than this.
お部屋にご案内いたします、四季様。
Yasui moves towards the door, paying my obvious confusion no mind. Yep, really got yourself in it this time. I sigh as I leave the office. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to stop for today. Look at that. Nice convenient breakpoint. Got all of day one done in one single episode, kept it in a reasonable time length. Perfect. So, with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and check out the Discord in the description down below. And I will see you guys all later, next time, for the continuation of Ciel's route, where we'll probably blaze through these early parts relatively easily. Once we hit the OP, after that, I'd imagine it'll be entirely Ciel stuff, and there'll be no more skipping and bouncing around between scenes. So, I've already said my bit. I'll let you guys get on with your day now. Okay, bye-bye.